So yesterday we talked about the act also, the different terms of the act. Today we'll talk about the methodology. When you become the member of that organization, when you become the member of the Internal Complaint Committee, ICC, at that time, what is your responsibility? So, what method is to be used to reach to a positive result? Whether it's a genuine case, whether it's a false case, what is the intensity of the offense? Based on that, you have to recommend the punishment also. As I said yesterday, I'll repeat it again, that penalty recommendation is the duty of ICC, but accepting that penalty, those recommendation is the prerogative of the D&A authority, disciplinary authority, that is the employer, the head of the institution. He can increase the penalty, he can reduce the penalty. If he thinks that the offense is very serious, maybe he will issue a charge sheet also. When he issues a charge sheet, then the case will be followed as per the government rules, rule number 14. But when he prepares a charge sheet and is the presiding officer, defense and all, at that time, it is his prerogative whether he wants to keep the external member as member of the committee or not, because our role is, as long as we are following the act and we have given the recommendation and the report writing we have done, our job is over. After that, then it's the responsibility of the disciplinary authority what is to be done. If he doesn't follow it, the the AW can always make an appeal that whatever recommendations were given, nothing has been followed. Because within 60 days, the employer is supposed to implement the recommendation, the penalty recommended by Internal Complaint Committee. He has got the right either to increase the penalty or to decrease the penalty also. So we'll talk about that now in detail, the methodology, and in the end there will be questions also. So we'll discuss some cases also. I'll give the example that how we could make out that the case was false. Yesterday also I gave one example. Today also I discussed one case about false cases, how you can make out the case is false.
Can I ask just one small question?
Yes.
I just wanted to know what all papers, like as a part of the committee from the NGO, what all documents can you seek from the employer or the, I mean, like first is from where can we seek it and what all documents can we seek?
We are coming to that, Meenakshi. I think it's Meenakshi, isn't it? Meenakshi. Documents which are required for us, those are concerning the complaint. The first step is the girl has to give, AW, the complainant has to give the complaint in writing. If she's not in a position to write the complaint, I told yesterday also, her legal heir can also write the complaint, or the member of the committee, they can also help her in writing the complaint. That is the first paper which we receive from her. When we receive that paper and we talk to her, then after that we get the list of the witnesses. So all those things are given by the chairperson of the committee to the external member. If you require any extra document you want to know about that complainant or about the respondent, then you have to seek the help of the chairperson, and it is the duty of the employee to supply you all the documents, all the papers which are demanded by the external member or demanded by the chairperson. That is the responsibility of the employer. Yesterday also said that whenever the AW or the respondent or the witnesses are invited or called or summoned by the chairperson of the committee, it becomes the responsibility of the employer to make them free, to send them for the meeting. And the days when they are attending this meeting with the chairperson or with the internal complaint committee, that time is not considered leave. That time is considered as working day for the respondent also, witnesses also, and for the aggrieved woman also. Is it okay?
Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. Now, So yesterday we were talking about sexual harassment. So this is the way they trouble the girl, harass the girl. When she's going, passing through, they start singing such lewd songs also. That is also part of sexual harassment, using lewd language, passing mean type of jokes, lewd remarks that amounts to sexual harassment, which we call verbal or non-verbal unwelcome remarks. So this comes under unwelcome remarks which are spoken by those men when the woman is just going through, and tomorrow he can say, मैंने तो कुछ किया ही नहीं, मैं तो वैसे ही गाना गा रहा था. So it amounts to sexual harassment. We cannot just leave them like that. Relating to that, I will explain one case also when we move forward. So this is a case. This case was that girl had filed this complaint in the High Court because that man had given her a written slip that you kiss me or you are fired. I'll ask you to leave the office, leave the job. So when Kalyani was saying about the intensity and the type of behavior, so this is the type of behavior the girls have to, the women have to face when they are at the workplace. They can go to that amount also. They can stoop to that amount, men, in order to trouble the women, in order to harass the women. Now, first step is that girl has to give a complaint. When she gives a complaint, how will she give the complaint? As I discussed yesterday, it's the duty of the employer that on all the important places which are visited by the staff also and by others also, they should put up a board where the name of the church chairperson along with her email ID and contact number is given, the names of the other members also of the committee, and you should give the penalty also if you are found guilty in sexual harassment at workplace. So the girl, when she knows that the chairperson's email ID or who is the chairperson or who is the member, then she can get in touch with the member. But first thing is that she has to give that complaint in writing. On receiving a complaint, you call that aggrieved woman, AIW, try to talk to her because she is so agitated. She has lost her confidence. She is in fear and she is so scared about the hostile environment. So first duty is try to calm her, pacify her that we are here to help you. Explain procedure, available options. You can explain to her that if she want conciliation, we'll help her. We will help her in conciliation and the man will be asked to apologize. If he agrees, then the matter will be closed over there, and then she can close the matter and she can say that the complaint may be closed. But if she says no, there was one case when we asked her whether you want conciliation, she said no, I want the case to be properly handled. Can you please mute yourself? Sharda?
I think off करके
there's a little bit disturbance. If you can mute yourself, then you can talk to whomsoever you want to. But others, maybe they are interested in knowing about the topic. Please mute yourself. Explain the procedure, that what are the procedure, how to go about, what she'll have to face. She'll have to bring the list of the witnesses, in what way the committee is going to help her. So everything has to be explained because she doesn't know, as he said yesterday also, when she gives a complaint, it's just an outline of the complaint. She doesn't give the reality, the real incident, because she doesn't know. And you know that all of us, we know that we are we hesitate when we have to give the details about the physical turmoil, physical touches, or the sexual assault. So slowly give her the confidence so that she can talk in detail that what has happened to her and what she has faced. So assure confidentiality and tell her that whatever you are telling me, that will remain in the four walls, they'll remain with me, or when you come to the committee, that will remain with the committee, and proper confidentiality shall definitely be maintained so that she creates and gets that confidence and she's able to share her problem, share the incident, and share the turmoil which she has faced all these days. Explain the power of ICC to safeguard the rights of AW and witness no victimization. So normally what will happen, the girl doesn't come forward because she knows that tomorrow my boss is going to victimize me. So it can affect her job also. And even the witnesses won't come forward saying that if we say anything, maybe some penalty will be imposed or we will also be troubled. So you have to give this confidence that under this act, ICC has got the right and all your rights will be safeguarded. And even if the witnesses, they come and give the statement, nothing is going to happen them. It is the responsibility of the employer that the complainant and the witnesses, they are not at all victimized. Act according to her choice. So we have to follow her choice, what she wants, whether she wants um, the following to follow the complete procedure under the act, or whether she wants to stop the complaint or withdraw the complaint or end the complaint through informal method. Informal method is conciliation, or he apologizes, or we issue the warning to the respondent. So that is the first step when you receive the complaint, and the complaint should be complete. As I said yesterday also, 3 months. I mean, the last incident should have happened 3 months before she gives the complaint. It shouldn't be very late that after 2 years you give the complaint, then it loses its authenticity. And in the complaint, she must write the incident in detail. What was the approximate date? What was the time and the place where the incident happened or where the man tried to trouble her? Now, if the woman has got the right to safeguard her dignity, the men also given me the same rights. Natural justice, that is what is required. You have to give justice to the complainant also and give justice to the respondent also. It's not that you get the complaint and you take a decision, yes, this man is found guilty and he should be removed from service or his promotion should be stopped. No, he has also got the right that when you get a complaint, the copy of the complaint is given to him also. He also have the right to come and say and explain what is his point of view. He should be given this full right to speak, and he shouldn't be declared guilty without giving a chance of hearing to the man. Fair play. Members must be impartial, act fairly and in good faith. The members of the committee also should not form your opinion. We should never be judgmental. You look at a man, you say, oh, he must be guilty. His personality is like that. He looks like that. No, don't make your opinion based on the outer appearance of the person. Try to go into the complaint and impartial, in a very impartial way. The girl is also, she also seeks justice, and the man also seeks justice. The duty of the members of the committee is not to show any impartiality, whether you know that man, whether you know that woman, both are new to you. That's why external member is appointed, because external member is very objective in giving her decision. Neither she knows the complainant nor she knows the respondent. So that's why other members are also supposed to be impartial. Order recommendation to be based on logic and evidence. So whatever report you are making, whatever recommendations you are giving, whatever findings you are given, there should be a reason behind that. There should be, try your best to have some evidence also before you give the findings, before you give the recommendation, before you write the report. So that natural justice is the right of the respondent also.
Kuljit ji, the slides are not
Singing and embarrassing. Second was, no, so second is kiss me or you are fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so I explained this thing also, that that lady had gone to the High Court for that, and now this is receiving a complaint. Call the aggrieved woman, calm AW,
Yes.
explain the procedure, give confidence, assure confidentiality, explain the power of ICC to safeguard the rights of AW and witnesses, no victimization, act according to her choice. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Next is natural justice for the respondent also. Nobody can be declared guilty without hearing. Members must be impartial, act fairly and in good faith. Orders, recommendations to be based on logic and evidence. Okay, shall I move forward?
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much and sorry for the interruption also. As they say on the TV, no?
Yeah. Yeah. We
ये
were
खेद
at a
है
loss.
रुकावट के लिए खेद है सॉरी
Thank you.
My-
Thank you. We were at a loss.
so we are coming next. Now, preliminary investigation. Now, this the committee has got two duties: preliminary investigation and getting into the inquiry. So, first is investigate. What is the investigation to be done by the ICC? Investigate the facts of the allegation. As I said previously, in her complaint, she must write the incident, the date, time, what happened, where it happened, how it happened. So if you are not satisfied with what she has written in the complaint, when you call her, you can ask her about the details of that. Only then she will come out. Otherwise, she doesn't know how to write all these things in the complaint. So when you call her, talk to her, and then encourage her to give the details. Then she'll give the detail. Investigate to verify the facts of the allegation. Then you try to find out whether whatever she's saying, the allegation she's putting up on that man, whether it's a fact that is true or not, to find out whether the act amounts to sexual harassment. If she says, मेरी transfer होनी थी जी, मेरी transfer नहीं कर रहे हैं, and she says my increment was due and they are not giving the increment, that is not sexual harassment, that is a grievance. Sexual harassment is, as we discussed yesterday, physical, it can be pornography, it can be verbal, non-verbal also, creating hostile environment also. All these things amount to sexual harassment. So we are there to discuss about the sexual harassment and not the grievance. If it's a grievance, you can tell them that this amounts to grievance only, not sexual harassment, and the matter will be handled by the grievance committee. So was the behavior directed towards AW or other employees as well? For example, he has given some comments to the whole gathering. 10, 15 people are sitting and he has addressed that gathering and he has used that language which is not appropriate for the women also. So you have to give the detail whether it was pointed towards that women only or everything was said in general. If it's general, again it's a grievance that the man is not, he doesn't know how to use and how he's using unparliamentary language at the working place. Whether it occurred at her workplace. Yesterday we had discussed in detail that what is the definition of workplace, whether it's a transportation, whether it's a official party, whether it's official training, whether it's official travel, whether it's in the office, whether the office you have visited, all these places were covered under workplace. So you have to find out, because for example, a woman is walking on the road और वो slip कर गई and somebody is trying to help her to get her from that and he touches her body and she says that it's a sexual harassment. So it's not covered under that act, because the man is trying to help her to stand on her own and he doesn't have that any bad intention to harass her. So we have to find out whether it amounts to sexual harassment or she is just misinterpreting it. Refer complaints to respondent and get his reply within 7 work days. This is very important, because normally what happens when the complaint is received, the chairperson calls and she says, Madam, complaint आई है, उसको आदमी को बुला लें. You cannot call that man like that, because he'll say, why are you calling me? I don't know what the complaint is. So the first duty of the chairperson is to send the copy of the complaint to the respondent and to tell him to give his side of explanation about that complaint within the 7 working days. Total 10 days and 7 working days he should give the reply whether he accepts the allegation or he doesn't accept the allegation. Inquire and give reasonable opportunity to the respondent to rebut the charge. So he should be given the opportunity to give reply to the charge which have been put by the AW, by the complainant on that man. Informal mechanism, explore. So that's the time when you send him the copy of the complaint, he rebuts the charges. Then at the time you have to decide whether the case is fit for conciliation, for apology, or just warning, or a case is very serious. If the allegations are serious, then you have to move forward and follow all the steps given in the act. Otherwise, you can ask the girl also. And if the girl says yes, she is prepared for conciliation, for apology, then you call that man, talk to that man, ask him, these are the conditions laid down by that girl. Are you ready? Because recently, as I think I said yesterday also, we had a case where that girl said that I am prepared for conciliation, but these are my 5 conditions. That he should apologize publicly in front of all the members, and in future, he should have nothing to do with me. He should be transferred out of that office. Of course, he had already got the orders for transfer. And the third was that if again it happens, I should be given the opportunity to get the case reopened, and he should give in writing that he should never misbehave with any women in future. And then she said that you must conduct a workshop also to make the other employees aware that what amounts to sexual harassment. So these were her conditions. So conditions were acceptable, and the committee also accepted this thing. Yes, they want to arrange for the workshop for the other members of the office, the other employees of the office. So these conditions she had given, the man signed on that condition, he apologized, he gave his apology in writing, she accepted that apology, conciliation was there, and then she gave in writing that the case may be closed. She is satisfied with the apology of that man. Now, if the conciliation is there, the case is closed, the thing is over. But as I said yesterday also, no monetary dealings when there is conciliation or when there is apology. The girl shouldn't say that he give me 20,000 and I'll withdraw the case. No, it is not a trade, it's a dignity. We are talking about the respect and not about handling of money matters. Now, if the case starts, if there is no conciliation, you have to start with the case. Work out the schedule of the investigation. You have to plan the chairperson along with the members, or the chairperson with the help of the member secretary. Member secretary is the one who helps her. She is also a lady in recording the proceedings, in sending the circular for the meetings also, preparing the minutes of the meeting, preparing the agenda and everything. So first thing is the chairperson has to work with the schedule of the investigation after consulting the members. As I said yesterday also, if they fix a date for the meeting and the date doesn't suit, you can always tell them that they should consult you before fixing the date. After fixing the date, if you say that I'm not available, I cannot come, so that is not the interest of the matter, because you are supposed to cooperate with the chairperson, with the committee. It's very difficult to find out suitable dates. So that's why you must give the date that I am available on such and such date, on such and such day, so that they can plan the investigation accordingly. Work fast, but not in haste. Don't delay the matter. That I'm busy, my conference is there, and I'll deal with the matter after 1 month because 3 months' time is there. No, you have to work. Only then the girl will get that confidence that when I am in trouble, people are taking it seriously and they want to help me. But don't try to haste the matter also. उसी शाम को मीटिंग बुलाई, सब बात करी, report, and the thing is over. No. Handle it with interest. Slowly try to understand. With understanding, try to handle the matter. Logistic, then you have to decide in which room where you can maintain the confidentiality, which is not like that the ordinary lobby where people are moving around. You have to arrange for that room also. Which office support, you need the computer also, you need helper also for giving pani or khana or something for the members also. You need a member secretary who's going to do the recording. So the chairperson's duty, as I said yesterday, the external member cannot be a chairperson because these duties are difficult for external member to handle. So chairperson should be a person who is already working in that establishment at a senior position. So she is the one who has to plan everything, how to investigate, how to go about, which place, what is the help she requires from the employer or from the office people. And then she should fix up the dates and times also, and inform the AW and the respondent, so that AW, whether you want to only talk to the AIW, to the complainant, or you have got that time to talk to the witnesses also. Because first day when you call the complainant, she talks a lot of time in explaining orally that what has happened, where it happened, how it happened, and sometimes she starts crying also. So give time to her. If you rush, so say, no, you bring your 4 witnesses also, then it becomes difficult to handle the case in a very efficient way. Attention to documents submitted by AW and respondent. Now, sometimes what happens, the complainant, she gives some documents also. As I said, that man had written, kiss me or she will be sacked. Some such type of slips also she can submit. And at times she submits the conversation, the messages on the phone also she can submit. And sometimes on this groups also he sends a message and she gives a copy of those messages also. So please look at the documents very carefully. Attention should be paid, because those documents are very valuable for that woman, the one who has made the complaint. Interim relief, if the girl is directly working under that man, I said yesterday also, up to 3 months, maximum up to 3 months, you can recommend that she should be given leave. You can give her 15, 20 days, 1 month also. And that leave is not a part of the leave she is entitled to. She is over and above the leave she is entitled to. Up to 3 months you can give. Or you can transfer that man, place order for the transfer of that man. You can transfer that girl also, so that she doesn't come into contact with that man every day and she doesn't have to face that disturbance and turmoil each and every time she looks at him. And then if it's a time for writing the confidential report, that man should be warned not to write the report at that girl at that time. That duty should be given to some other person. So, as I said, fix a suitable date and time. Interview the AW and her witnesses. Then you call that aggrieved woman, you call that complainant. Clearly talk to her. Listen to her. When she is talking, please don't try to interrupt her. Because when she is talking in a flow, let her talk in that flow. When she has finished talking, only then you can question her, or only you can ask her to write whatever she has said. Though she has given a written complaint, but this paper is very important. Interview the AW and her witness. Check not recording on mobiles. At times what happens, the girls, they bring 1 mobile, 2 mobile, and whatever is happening over there, they do the recording for that. So you have to be very careful when the complainant, respondent, witnesses, they come for that meeting. They shouldn't carry their mobiles. They shouldn't have that facility to record what is happening over there. Because when we are discussing the things, so many things are spoken by the members of ICC. So they shouldn't record those things, what we have said, in a very lighter vein also. So that's why no recording. Interview respondent and his witness. So when you are interviewing, first interview the AW, and if the time is there, then you call the witnesses. If on that day the time is, you're running short of time, you can give some other day to the witnesses and they should come and talk in detail, because every word, every statement, everything is very important to finalize the case, to give the recommendation, because it affects the life of certain person. That respondent is also an employee, he is also working over there. So we shouldn't miss that thing, that he should also be given justice. Interview each person separately, confidentially, under oath. It's not like that you call that complainant and along with that the witnesses can also come. No, separately, independently, if they are talking independently, only then they'll be in a position to speak the truth. Otherwise, they'll become conscious, they get scared, and the truth will never come out. And the most important thing is under oath. There was one case, once very serious case we handled, and we had recommended the termination, the removal of that officer. And the seniors in the office, they wanted to help that man. The only lacuna in the in the handling of the case was that the case wasn't done under oath. So the senior officers, they called us, they said, no, please, dobara se karo, because it was done under oath. So we knew that they wanted to help the respondent at that time. So we should be careful about each and everything. So tomorrow when you put in so much of hard work, about 8 meetings, 10 meetings, 12 meetings, and then you reach to a conclusion and prepare the report, and the seniors in the office, the employer of the office says the matter wasn't done under oath. So that's why please redo it. It's so difficult to redo the thing, to call the witnesses and take their statement. So we have to be careful at every step. Obtain written statements same day. The record proceeding. Proceedings are being recorded also when they give the statement. So this is a very important point. In certain cases, I have found out when she writes a complaint, she comes and gives the statement. When she gives the written statement, there is a contradiction. There was one false case in, I won't name the organization. The girl, she gave the complaint, ये लड़का मेरे को परेशान करता है and मेरी engagement हो गई है. I am engaged during the month of December and still he follows me and he troubles me and all. That complaint was there. When we called that girl, she said the same thing, that he follows me, he sends me messages, this and that, and now I'm engaged and it's not safe for my marriage also if those people, they come to know this and that. Then we asked her to write it down, whatever she has said. So when she gave in writing and I read that, immediately I told the committee that she had an affair with that boy. Now she is engaged to someone else and now she's making a complaint and he doesn't want to leave her. So we called the boy. It was very interesting. It was out of innocence also, you can say. We couldn't take action against that girl because it was so innocent action on her part. That boy, when he came, he said, okay, she got engaged in December and I am still following her. But during the month of January, she has sent me this message. तुम्हें ठंड बहुत जल्दी लग जाती है, बार बारिश है, सर्दी में नहीं जाना. So he said, this she has sent in January. She got engaged in December. If I am at fault, if I am following her, then why did she send this message in January? कि बाहर ठंड है, तुम्हें ठंड बड़ी जल्दी लग जाती है. Well, it's very cold outside and you catch cold very easily. You're prone to catching cold. So please don't go out today. Otherwise you will fall sick. So he said, why she's bothered about me? She's already engaged. So we could make out that, yes, there was an affair and now that girl is engaged and there is some emotional this thing. So we didn't take action against that girl, but we made them sit and reconciliation was done. And boy was also counseled and advised that since she is already engaged, please, if you really love her, if you really care for her, you stop and control your emotions. And then the girl, she said that since conciliation has been done and the case may be closed. So you can call it false also, you can call it innocent emotions also. So whatever way, but this was one of the false cases which I had handled early, maybe sometimes in 24, yeah, I think 23, maybe in 2020, I think 2020 ka case. But I still remember the face of that girl also. I remember the face of that boy also. So I could see that still that something was there between them, but compulsions of families. And then a record proceeding also should be recorded. AIW and respondent not to be brought face to face. This is very important because even that man will feel very awkward. The girl will lose further her confidence if you make her sit in front of that man. Only when at the end, when the man or the girl, they want to have this cross-examination, only then they have to come face to face. Otherwise, the girl's statement should be taken separately. witnesses separately, individually, one by one, and respondents' statement also individually. Respondents' witnesses also one by one. Everybody, all the witnesses, respondent, AW, whatever they have said, written statement should be taken by all of them by internal complaint committee. These things are very important. Non-cooperation of the parties. If the parties don't, if the respondent doesn't turn up, or if the girl doesn't turn up, what will happen? We are at present, we are facing a case, it's a false case, of course, and that lady, I mean, she has put that case falsely, and every time we call for a meeting, she always says, give me 15 days more, give me, she is a very senior person, give me 15 days more, 15 days more, and the allegations are also all meaningless, I should tell. So I'll talk about that case later. But if the respondent or AW fails to appear without reason for 3 consecutive hearings, the ICC can take ex parte decision or terminate inquiry within a notice of 15 days. So you can just see that act how important, how every small matter they have taken care of. That if for 3 consecutive hearings, the respondent doesn't turn up, or if the girl doesn't turn up, the committee has got the right to take ex parte decision. Whatever documents, whatever complaint, whatever has already happened, based on those meetings, you can prepare your report, you can prepare your finding, but you must give 15 days notice before you take ex parte decision. Ex parte decision means without the presence of that party, the internal complaint committee has the right to take any decision they want to based on the documents or the statements they have already received. If he fails to give written defense, the ICC can take decision with the available documents. I've already said. Quorum. In the meeting of the ICC, 3 members must be present, including the chairperson. So with 3 members, you can have the meeting, but chairperson should be there, external member. Without external member, you cannot have the meeting, because for every document, external member is supposed to sign on every document. So if I am not present when something is happening, when witnesses have been called or the respondent has been called, I will refuse to sign on those documents. So that's why the presence of the chairperson and of the external member is mandatory when you're holding any meeting. But if there are 3 people, you can continue, you can go ahead with the meeting. Now, proceedings. All witnesses to give statements cross-examined by the ICC. When the AW gives the complainant gives the statement, ICC, you write down the points when she is speaking, what you want to ask. Ad hoc, you cannot go on questioning her. Just ask solid question pertaining to the case and relevant question, meaningful question. You can't waste the time of the internal complaint committee or of the aggrieved women. You cannot harass her by asking illogical question. So she has to be crossing whatever she says, whatever she speaks, whatever written complaint she has given. You go through the complaint also and just listen carefully what she's saying. Based on that, you can always prepare the questions then and there when she's speaking, and you can cross-examine her, or you can call her later also to cross-examine. So it is the prerogative of the members of the internal complaint committee to cross-examine the witnesses also, the aggrieved women also, and the respondent also after they have given their statements. The right of the AW and her witness to speak first before the respondent and his witnesses. So first the complainant has to speak and give her statement. First, her witness have to be called, because whatever she has said, you have to corroborate the statement of the girl and what the witnesses are saying. For example, girl says that in the morning 10:30 when I come, my boss starts shouting at me and creating hostile environment because I didn't respond to his advances. But the witness say, नहीं जी मैं तो 2:30 बजे आता हूँ, मुझे पता नहीं सुबह क्या होता है. So this means there is a contradiction. So you have to be careful what the witness is saying and what the complainant is saying, that the statement given by her also and by the witness also, they are corroborated. All statements to be in writing, signed by the person who has made the statement, also signed by ICC members on all pages. So whatever statement is, just don't give your decision based on the oral thing. नहीं उसने तो ये कहा था, मैंने तो ऐसा कहा था. No. Whatever she has said, she can say that you are doing already recording also you're doing. Maybe we are doing the recording, but as I told you, when they speak and when they write, that is the time you can find out the truth. इसमें सच्चाई क्या है? Because while writing, they'll forget what they have said. So the truth will come when they are giving the statements in writing. So everything, whether the witnesses or the AW or the respondent, whatever they have said, give them a secluded place, give them paper and pen and ask them to write now. Don't tell them, nahi, aap apne kamre mein jaake. No. When they go to the room, they'll have a legal advice. They'll talk to their lawyer and he'll say, nahi, ye nahi likhna, wo nahi likhna, wo nahi likhna. So be very careful because we don't want any intervention, any interruption, any advice, any counseling from the legal side. That's why immediately when she has spoken, when the witnesses have spoken, when the respondent has spoken, make them sit. That's why I said that logistics have to be decided by the chairperson. Which place you will make that AW sit separately. She will sit independently, give her the pen also, paper also, give her 40 minutes time and say that jo bhi aapne bola, whatever you have spoken over there, you are supposed to give that in writing. So girl also will write in, give in writing. The witnesses, whatever they have said, whether few words or in detail, they have to give in writing. Respondent and his witnesses also, whatever has been said in front of the internal complaint committee has to be given in writing in black and white by all the participants. AW and respondent have the right to cross-examine any witness. So normally we say that they shouldn't be brought face to face, but at certain times there is so much of contradiction. So recently we had a case, the girl was saying something else and the boy was saying, main to kuch nahi kiya, main to kuch nahi kiya. So then I said we must have cross-examined. So when they came face to face, and then the girl also little bit becomes aggressive and she says, tumne mere sath ye kiya. उस टाइम तुमने ये किया, मैंने तुमको मना किया, I stopped you from doing that, but you didn't stop. Then the man has to agree, yes, whatever he has done. So yesterday, from Kakinada, Bhanumati ji has also sent me an example. She handled one case and she said how the man refused to accept that he has done any such thing, but everything was recorded on his own phone. So we took the phone and after that he accepted, yes, he has committed and he has tried to harass that girl. So it does happen like that. Then when you do the cross-examine, the truth will come at that time. And the second thing which I feel is that when the man is sitting over there and girl shouts at man, aggressively talks, she gives the detail about the fact. That is the time when the facts come in front of you. And that is the time when girl also feels very light because she has given vent to her emotions. She has given vent to whatever she was feeling at that time, the humiliation or the fear or insult, all that thing. I mean, the vent is given and she feels it's good for health. She feels better. Okay, they shouldn't sit face to face, but I think cross-examination, if essential, if compulsory, it must be done. The truth will definitely come out during that because she also speaks the truth and he also cannot shirk from saying whatever has actually happened. Shall we move forward? Are you listening or सो तो नहीं गए?
नहीं जग रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं.
बिल्कुल.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay,
कौन सो
okay.
गया? आप इतना अच्छा बोल रहे हो, कोई सो सकता है?
नहीं, मेरे को तो थोड़ी थोड़ी नींद आ रही है.
क्यों बोलते बोलते नींद नहीं आ सकती? You are speaking so well and we are listening very attentively.
इतना ही
So please
voice
go
है,
ahead.
lullaby है.
Please
Huh?
go ahead.
Your voice is like a lullaby. So you'll
Like
go
a
lullaby. जो बच्चों को
Okay.
सुनाते हो.
नहीं. Her voice is very clear and very nice and we are listening very attentively. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'll come to the next slide now, because the topic is very dry. Actually, I think I should have given some example. So shall we give some example and talk? वो थोड़ा very interesting and dirty thing which I faced in one of the meetings. They were research scholars. 4 or 5 girls, they made a written complaint कि उनका जो वो professor है, he misbehaves with them. So what was the when we call that man, he was 59 years old. Can you believe that? 59 years old and he's misbehaving with the young girls. First objection was they said that every day when we come to the college or we come to, I mean, they were interns, they were doctors, doctor interns. They said every day when we come, we are supposed to sign a register. And he keeps that register on his thigh and then he says, you come and sign it. So it was so shocking to hear such things. And when we called that man, he said, Nahi ji, they are like my daughters. Why should I misbehave with them? I am about to retire. Madam, I'm already 59. I said, that's why you won't get the opportunity to meet such beautiful young girls. That's why you are exploiting the situation. And then you are keeping your register on your thighs and asking those girls to sign. He says, नहीं वो ना टेबल में रखने से उनको दिखता नहीं, दैट्स व्हाई योर थाइज में दिखता है, उनके नीचे मैंने कहा बल्ब लगे हुए हैं तुम्हारी थाइज में कि उनको रजिस्टर दिखेगा एंड दे विल बी एबल टू पुट देयर सिग्नेचर्स. I mean, it's so disgusting, I tell you, at times in certain cases. I mean, how these men, they behave with the women. उसको देख के इतना मुंह में, आई डोंट नो इंग्लिश वाले दे विल अंडरस्टैंड, मुंह में पानी क्यों आ जाता है औरत को देख के, व्हाई दे बिकम सो वीक. And they always want to look at women like an object. जो उनको sexual desire they are going to fulfill. If they sign the register when you're putting it on your thigh, what type of satisfaction you are going to get out of that? But what a humiliation for those girls. So these are the cases you have to face when you go as external member. Those who are already going, they must be facing all these things. And yesterday I talked about that false case also, and that woman said, Ye ji apni, I said, what did he do to you? He said he was sitting on his chair, I was sitting just opposite, he stood up and he touched my breast. So the table was too big. I don't think that it was simply impossible for the hand to reach to that girl. So I called that man, I said, try to touch her breast. So the hand won't reach. Then she said, no, he said that he is going to gang rape me and throw acid on me. I said, when did he say? Where did he say? She said, no, he was talking on the phone when I was sitting in his room. He must be talking to someone else. So, of course, that case was false. She was behaving like that on the, you can say that the union people, they wanted to bring some bad name to that officer because he was very strict and all. So it was ultimately. So these type of things are very disgusting. No? So that's why I just gave you that example. But there are very serious cases also. Yesterday also I talked about that senior doctor who said, who used to call that girl at 11:30. And then after her marriage, he said, how is your sex life? So again, I'll talk some other cases next when you are fully awake. Now, reasoning and brainstorming among ICC members. So when you have received all the statements, the written statements by the respondent also, by the aggrieved women also, and from the witnesses also, then the responsibility falls on the shoulders of the ICC members that how to handle it now. Carefully analyze and evaluate the statements. So all the gist of that, those incidents, the gist of that harassment, everything is now in those statements only. So carefully go through, all of you should go through one by one, analyze it, evaluate it, that what do you find in the statements, and then try to see whether the statements do tally or there are contradictions in the statements. Establish the sequence of events. Then you have to write that सबसे पहले क्या हुआ, second क्या हुआ, first day, first event incident was when he went to her room and he put his hands on the back and he said, don't worry, I am here, any help you need. And the girl took it very nicely that somebody is trying to take care of me. After 2 days, again, he goes to her room and then he starts putting his hand on the back and fondling her hair also. कुछ प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है? She'll say नहीं 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 कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. After 3 days again he says चलो लंच किया नहीं है, चल मेरे साथ, मैं लेके आया हूँ. Now she cannot say no, because twice when he has tried to misbehave, she has accepted that behavior. So from the very first day you have to be careful. When he is fondling your hair, don't let him. Tell him, sir, I don't like it. Please don't don't touch me. Don't try to fondle my hair. Then he will get the signal that you are not that type. You are not interested in all these things. But if you go and say, and then you go for lunch also, then he'll say, next he'll say, मेरी बीवी यहाँ पर नहीं है. यहाँ वो ही करेगा जैसे वो पिक्चर में हुआ था. He'll put medicines on the table and he says what to do. My wife is bedridden and I'm so lonely. I don't know whom to talk to, whom to be friends with. Can you be friends with me? Come to my home. Yeah, something things like that. So the very beginning you have to be very careful about that. Establish a sequence of events. कब कैसे हुआ और क्या हुआ, that you have to see. Look for authenticity. So there your duty comes in. Now you use your brain, your experience, and your understanding of the cases, no? How authentic whatever is written by the respondent, by the witnesses, by the AW also. What is authenticity? And what she has written on the first paragraph, is it consistent with the second paragraph? Or second paragraph is something else? And then confirmation based on the statements and close up. You observe also. When she's writing, when she's speaking, when he is writing, when he is speaking, you don't have to think about anything else. कि मेरे घर में आज party है तो क्या बनाना है? No. Fully concentrate what statements, all of them they are giving. Only then you will be understand the case and evaluate that case. So give due weightage to factors like body language, circumstantial evidence, body language, how she is behaving. Is she becoming too emotional while talking? Is she crying, trying to control her tears? Is she sobbing? Sometimes they start trembling when they are narrating such incidents. So this is the body language. We have to be very careful. बीच में कई बार पानी भी पिलाना पड़ता है when she becomes too emotional. That also you find that also is a thing to notice and to write, that how was her body language. Body language is very important. अगर बात करते करते उसमें कुछ असर ही नहीं, ऐसे बोल रही है तो then you have to be doubtful कि हुआ भी कि नहीं हुआ. So that's very important, based on उसका body language and circumstantial evidence, whether was this thing possible. If she says I went to his room and he hugged me, for example, it's an open hall and the other members are also sitting over there, just go to that place and see कि ऐसे है. हमारे साथ एक बार एयर होस्टेसेस का केस थे. So they took the internal complaint committee to visit the plane. So फ्लाइट में जाके हमने देखा कि वो फ्लाइट में कहाँ पर वो बैठता है जो पायलट है, एंड एयर होस्टेस कहाँ बैठती हैं, how they move about. So you can go and find out that also in order to see the prove the circumstantial evidence kya hai. Go and see the place where the man sits, where the girl sits, how far it is, what type of atmosphere is there, whether so many people, other people are also sitting over there. So that is circumstantial evidence. The circumstances, do they permit that such thing can happen over there? That is circumstantial evidence. In 90% of the cases, circumstantial evidence proves whether the case is true or false. Preponderance of probability, same thing, that is it probable that this thing can happen over here. Connect the evidence and the findings of the ICC leading to final recommendation. So the final recommendation when you are preparing, so what is the evidence, what are your findings, based on that you will give the recommendation based on the intensity of the offense. It's not that he has said something and you say कि इसको तो निकाल ही दो. Unless he has physically tried to assault her, trouble her, you cannot give a very, very strong punishment. Of course, this warning, apology, censure, stopping the increments, these things you can recommend. But unless the offense, but if the offense is very serious, then you should help the girl in getting the FIR also sent to the police. That help is also required by the girl from the members of ICC. So we have to be very careful leading to the final recommendation based on the evidence and the findings. Conclusions and recommendations. If the case is not proved, you've got the statements also, witnesses also, and you think you have decided, all the members, that there is nothing sexual harassment under the definition of sexual harassment, so the case has to be closed. If there is no, but you have to be very careful, because recently there was a case, maybe I told yesterday also, he didn't say otherwise, sexually he didn't assault her. He used to sit in a corner and used to stare at the girl and always notice her. You can say it was like stalking her activity, whether she is going to bathroom, how much time she is spending over there, how much time she is sitting in front of the computer, how much time she is spending with the boss. So all these things he was doing. So you have to be very careful about these things also. Based on that, the penalties can be given. You can give the penalty, or you can transfer him, stop his increment, stop his promotion, so that he learns a lesson. If guilty, to be treated. Sorry. Closure of the case if not proved, whether malicious or false evidence by witness. Yesterday also we had discussed, and morning I gave you the example. Mere substantiation of no issue to establish malice. For example, there are no witnesses. She doesn't have a document. He didn't send her a message. So she doesn't have any such proof. That doesn't mean that the case is false. Maybe the case is true. So you can make out from the way she is talking, the statement she is given, from her body language, circumstantial evidence. There, all these things do matter, where she doesn't have the documents or the witnesses to prove that she has been sexually harassed. If guilty, to be treated as misconduct under service rule. If he is guilty, then it's a very serious matter under service rule. He has to be punished. Penalty or action accordingly: stoppage of increment, promotion, censure, compulsory retirement. Amount of compensation by the respondent to AIW based on mental and physical turmoil. Yesterday also I talked about that. If the girl has developed some mental disorder, if the girl has got some health issues, she got some diabetes, sleeplessness, and sugar, blood pressure because of this harassment at the office, at the workplace, or she has met with an accident because she is not able to maintain her balance, then under these circumstances, the committee can always decide that the financial help that person has to give to that girl, which is called financial penalty. The amount for compensation is to be decided by internal complaint committee. If he is not in a position to give lump sum, then you can always take the amount in installments. But the girl has to be compensated for these if she is consulting a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a doctor, and all these things are because of the harassment caused by that man. Then he must pay compensation to that AW. Now, last is report writing. How you have to write the report? First, you have to give introduction. Introduction means what is the committee, who are the members, how many times you had the meeting, what time you had the meeting, and you have to attach those documents also. The circular which you had sent, the members when they attended the meeting, their due signatures along with that all these documents are to be attached. Gist of the complaint. After that, you write the gist. What was the complaint? Not that the 4 or 5 papers you attach with that. Just write one paragraph, about 50 sentences. What was the complaint that girl had given? Article of charges. Article of charges means the definition which we had discussed yesterday under Vishaka guidelines. The same definition for sexual harassment is included in the Act also. First article of charge is physical advances. Second is pornography. So like that, whatever steps are there given as the definition of sexual harassment, that is article of charge. So you have to say that the complaint she has made that is covered under article of charges, whether he has sent the pornography, whether he has created hostile environment, whether this was physical advances, whether there was verbal and non-verbal harassment, all those things, whatever is the article of charge, this complaint or this action of harassment is covered under that article of charges. First, second word, third A, whatever it is. Gist of proceeding, that how did you go about? What were the dates? What were the days? And the girl, when the AW gave her statement, when the witnesses gave the statement, when the respondent gave the statement, how many meetings were there, whether the recording was done or not, whether the statements were taken or not. All those documents are also duly signed, have to be attached. But in the report writing, you have to give the gist for that. The points of determination, what led to this decision, whether he has been found guilty or not guilty, whether malicious or whatever is your finding. Details of evidence collected, evaluation of evidence. What is the importance of that evidence? For example, there are WhatsApp messages. She gives you that copy of that WhatsApp messages, or he has sent the messages otherwise. So he has given the slips. What is the importance of that? Or whether she didn't give the slips and the evidence, what importance is of that statement, whether that has been proved or not. That also you have to give in writing. And then findings and recommendation. So what are your findings? Whether he is guilty or not. Guilty to what extent he is guilty. Accordingly, you have to give the recommendation. So recommendation is under the service rules. So in government offices, the service rules are there. But in other places, for example, you go to CISF, you go to BSIF, you go to this AIMS hospital, you go to Malana hospital, you go to private undertakings, they've got their own rules. So you give your recommendation, you give your findings, and let them handle it accordingly. Or as I told yesterday also, based on the offense, the disciplinary authority or the employer, he can decide whether to accept your recommendation, or again, he can issue the charge sheet. He can issue the charge sheet and start with the investigation. Then the presiding officer, the defense, and the witnesses all are there. Or without issuing charge sheet, he can accept your recommendation. He can increase the penalty you have recommended, or he can decrease the penalty which you have recommended in your findings. Some don'ts. I've discussed with that. Irrelevant and leading questions are not permitted. Don't ask any irrelevant question. Questions should be to the point, because our state of mind you should try to understand. When a girl makes such a complaint, when she gets the courage to make such a complaint, you should try to help her, try to appreciate, try to cooperate. Don't ask irrelevant questions. उस दिन तुम लेट तो रोज आती हो, इसलिए वो तुम्हें ये कहता है. This is not the way you have to talk to that girl. Show proper respect. Don't think that she's such a junior person and I can talk or I can handle her the way I want to. No. Irrelevant questions, you will waste your time and you will waste and lose her courage and confidence also. Leading questions are not. Don't ask a leading question. Ask a relevant question so that she can give the proper answer for that. And the next most important is no personal and sexual history of AIW. Her character, personal life or conduct should be questioned. If she has made a complaint, don't say, ये तो ऐसी है, मैंने फलां लड़के के साथ घूमते देखा है. She's always sitting in the cafeteria. She moves around with the girls. She always wears such sexy dresses. Her language is also loose. Those are different. There was one case of sexual harassment when a police officer went to a woman's house and he tried to misbehave with her. That woman made a complaint and it was said that woman is of loose character. Iska to character aisa hai. But the court gave this judgment. They said whether she is of loose character, what type of life she is leading, you have got no right to enter her house and try to misbehave with her. Without her consent, without her knowledge, you cannot trouble that woman and sexual assault. So that police officer was then given the punishment by the court. So if that woman, we always pass comments like that, no? ये तो कपड़े ऐसे पहनती है, ये तो ऑफिस में ऐसे बन के आती है, ये तो मेकअप बहुत करती है, इसकी टॉक्स लूज होते हैं. Maybe she has got loose character, maybe she has got 10 boyfriends, maybe she's dressing up like that, maybe she's talking like that. But you have got no right to take advantage of that behavior of hers and physically or sexually try to harass her and assault her. You cannot take that as a reason that the man cannot be punished because the respondent, so the complainant, her character is like that. So please don't use that excuse, her personal life and conduct. No aggression to be shown to ICC. In one of the meetings I went, do the iska third DDA authority. ना ये जो घर बनाते हैं DDA authority. The member, she started shouting at that girl. तुमने ऐसा क्यों बोला? कब बोला? I said no. She's already in trouble. She has, has the courage to come forward and say all these things. How many girls have the courage to come out and say publicly? Because there is always stigma attached to that. So talk to her very politely. Try to understand her mental condition. Try to understand her state of mind. Don't start shouting so that we can get rid. She should get scared and she should withdraw the complaint. No, our attitude should be to help that girl, to be empathetic, understanding, sympathize, show affection, show love. Only then you will be able to help that girl to come out of that trauma. Now, at times, as I already said, if there are no witnesses, no documents, but credible evidence given by the AIW are sufficient to hold the respondent guilty, if there are no witnesses to corroborate circumstantial evidence. If you find that whatever evidence she has given, whatever statement she has given, and you are convinced that there is something solid in that complaint, then please go ahead and take action. Don't think that there are no witnesses. Sometimes some girls, they are hesitant in sharing their problem. They don't want to talk there about their troubles. And sometimes the witnesses don't turn up also. So that's why if you are convinced from her body language or from the circumstantial evidence that something has happened to that girl, then you should always try to understand and accordingly prepare the report and the findings and give punishment to the respondent. Now there's a timeline also. You cannot go on for years and years. Complaint aagi to koi baat nahi. AIW to file complaint within 3 months of the last incident. I have repeatedly told you. ICC to complete inquiry within 90 days. 90 days ke beech mein 6 months mein you have to 90 days 3 months, sorry, 3 months you have to complete the findings. ICC to forward report to employer and concerned parties within 10 days. When the inquiry is over, when the last hearing is over, after that 10 days time is there with the ICC to prepare the findings and to prepare the report and then submit it to the employer. Respondent AIW given 10 days time to submit a written brief if they wish before IC submits the report. When the last meeting is held, after that you can ask the respondent also and the AIW, the complainant also, if anything else you wanted to say, but you couldn't say, you didn't get the opportunity to say, we give you 10 days, you can give a brief. So 10 more days are given to the complaint committee also to prepare the report, and the natural justice is also done to the complainant and to the respondent that anything else they want to say in their favor about the case, they can give in writing. Section for employer to act within 60 days. Not that you give the report, you give the recommendation, and the employer will keep the file in the drawer and forget about that. No. Within 60 days from the receipt of the recommendation, he has to take action, whether he increases the punishment or decreases the punishment. Appeal within 90 days. And the girl can also make an appeal. The respondent can also make an appeal. Make an appeal under the circumstances, because if you have declared the complaint is malicious, false complaint hai, the girl can always make a complaint to the tribunal. Or if you have given punishment to the respondent and he says that he is not guilty, or if you say that the case is not proved, the girl can make an appeal. So the right to appeal is with the respondent also and with the complainant also within 90 days. Now, what is the responsibility? What is our responsibility when we go as external member, as member of ICC? The complete responsibility of having cordial environment in the organization falls on the shoulder of ICC. Of course, employers' responsibility is also there to have an atmosphere of zero violence. But when the case is with ICC, or the ICC has to show the responsibility conducting an effective inquiry and proceeding will ensure women's safe environment to work. So if you just in a haste, if you take a decision in 1 day, 2 day, 10 day, नहीं इसमें तो कुछ नहीं, इसमें तो कुछ नहीं, इसमें सब कुछ है, it's very bad. It's bad for the women also. So if you want, what is our aim? What is the aim of AIWC? To create very cordial environment at workplace for the women, to help the women, to bring the women out of their turmoil. If we want a safe environment, because as we always feel that economic empowerment is very important for the equality, for the liberty, and for the respect and dignity of women. So if she's not economically independent, how she can be economically independent? If the place of work is safe, if the environments are not hostile, if every day she goes with that feeling that productivity will come low. And I gave the example yesterday also, that one girl, she called me up and she had already resigned from the job. When a woman resigns, the whole family suffers, the children suffer, she suffers, of course, the organization suffers, and the country also suffers. When you're well qualified professional women, they are not given the safe environment to work and to contribute to the GDP and the productivity of the country. So, but that responsibility falls on the shoulders of the members of ICC to give justice to the complainant. ICC share the responsibility to grant relief to AIW and for prevention and elimination of sexual harassment in the workplace. That is very important. As we said, that if there's some psychological, mental, physical impact of that harassment, then she should be given the compensation, and it is the responsibility of the ICC that a proper compensation must be given to the women. एक तो उसको physical problem है, दूसरा उसको आप financial problem डालोगे. So we have to come forward and help that woman. No subject to RTI. So that's very important. If anybody talks to you, gives you a call, जी हमारे वहाँ पर आपका केस हुआ, give us the detail. This sexual harassment case is not covered under ITI. Right to information में covered J नहीं है. At so many times they do get these phone calls. जी हमें उस केस के बारे में बताइए. It is not covered under ITI. The act imposes a solemn responsibility on the ICC. हमारे ऊपर बहुत बड़ी responsibility है ICC members के ऊपर to give justice to the complainant also and to the respondent also. Repeatedly, I've been saying that both of them, they have to be treated with a full dignity, because if we say dignity of women, we have to talk about the dignity of man as well. Now, thank you so much for listening to me for 2 days. And now next is again my turn to speak. Questions, comments, and interaction. Now you're free to trouble me, to put me in a soup, to ask any question you want to ask.
एक बार और पूछो, इसलिए कोई रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं आ रहा।
Kuljit,
हाँ जी,
Acha, I have one question.
हाँ जी,
Yesterday you were saying if a girl is on official duty, whether in the office or outside. So on an official duty, she is outside the office, and if a third party, somebody, some harassment happens to her when she is out, will that be part of this?
Yes, that's a responsibility of the. That is the responsibility of the. Mute. Sorry. Mute करना है. Okay. That is the responsibility of the organization, that that girl must get justice. As I gave the example, for example, somebody comes to AIWC, एक लड़की आती है, and she brings some stationery, and somebody in the office try to harass her. It is then that girl has got every right to make a complaint against that man, and it becomes the responsibility of the place she has visited or her own employer also, that she should be given proper justice.
Okay, I have a little more. What I'm saying is, supposing you have sent me on an official, don't me, but a younger girl, who has been sent for an official work and I've hired a cab to go there. So I get harassed by the cab driver or somebody on the way. The part of the office, this thing
Yes, you have to
responsibility.
make a police complaint. You have to make them, because if the cab driver is working with Uber or something, you can always go to the company and make the complaint. If
So
the
it will,
driver is not doesn't belong to any such company, then you can always make a police complaint. और अगर जैसे होता है ना इनके टैक्सीज वालों का, there is a छोटी सी ऑफिस होती है देयर ऑल्सो, बिकॉज इफ द मैटर इज इन अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर, then there are local committees. Local committees, the head is district officer. So there you make a police complaint will be forwarded over there, and there also women members are there, member of panchayat is there, NGO is there, a reputed women of that area is there. So there's a local complaint committee, and they will handle your case if he's a taxi driver, is a cab driver, and he has tried to misbehave with you.
but it becomes a, personal matter between the girl and that whatever.
Not personal matter, it's a district matter, because the police is involved, the district officer is
But
involved.
office is not involved in any way.
Now, office will definitely, I mean, they will support you in that case, but otherwise, it's the responsibility of that person who has
Individual.
troubled you and who have hired him. If Uber has hired, Uber has to come and take the responsibility. But your office will definitely, this is their responsibility also, that if they have deputed a person, that person should be there in the safe environment. But if the transport is from the office side and the driver misbehaves, then of course the
Then
office
they
has to take the action.
Oh,
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Kuljit ji, I have one question.
Anji,
Said,
please give
there
me your
is-
name also. There's only number.
oh, sorry, I'm
Preeta.
Preeta Raj.
Preeta, I know you are Preeta, but the people don't know.
Right. So there was one thing you had mentioned about 7 days time for the respondent. Is that 7 days time for the ICC to give a notice to the respondent, or is it the respondent's reply within 7 days?
Yes, respondent has to reply within 7 days, 10 working days, total 7 days. Maybe when you send the letter to him, maybe he doesn't get the letter, it takes time to receive the letter, he's out of station. So there can be so many reasons. So that's why the maximum time is given 7 working days, total 10 days. During that time, he can send the reply within 2 days also, 3 days also, but maximum time given is 7 days.
Okay, but it is only the reply of the respondent should be we should be receiving it within 7 days.
Yes, because I have sent the complaint. There are charges in the complaint that he has harassed that girl. So he has to rebut the charges, whether he agrees with those charges or not. If not, why not? So if yes, then he has to be punished for that. So he has to very careful, very thoughtfully give reply to the charges which have been placed by that complainant on that man. So he needs at least some time for that.
Okay, so is there a time limit for us to give a notice to the respondent?
It's the same thing. It's like a notice only. When I have received the complaint, immediately I am supposed to send the complaint to the respondent. So that is, we are also asking for his explanation. When he gives the reply to that complaint, this means I am talking to him, I am asking him to give your side of this thing against the complaint made by the complainant.
Okay, so we are asking and he has to reply all within 10 days.
No, he has to reply. Yes, when I send the complaint and I tell him, I give the letter also, I tell him that you please, this is the complaint I have received. These are the charges she has made. I am enclosing the copy of the complaint. Kindly state, give your explanation, what you want to say about the charges which have been framed against you. So within 10 days, 7 working days, he has to send the reply. So this means the charges, I am also imposing those charges and asking for his explanation.
Understood. Yeah.
Good afternoon,
Good
Kuljit ji.
afternoon.
This is Ashita here.
Anji Ashita. I know that, Ashita.
Yeah. My question, I don't know whether it's how it can, because with the changing time and with the changing sexual orientation, sexual harassment in workplace may not be always he. It can be from she also. So how does this act
Yeah.
address to this?
Yeah. Act, if she against she,
Yeah.
then the act is effective. If a girl creates violence or harassment with the girl, she's covered under that act. But otherwise, because the word is person, not she or he. So person means it is applicable to both sides. I mean, with the women also. But otherwise, it's gender neutral. The man cannot make a complaint against woman that she is harassing me. Though there is a finding, survey ka New Zealand ka, I'll show you that survey also, that the research has been done. Percentage men harassing men, women harassing women, men harassing women, and then women harassing men. I'd show you that survey also. I've got that report. So if a man is harassed by women in India, it's gender neutral. In other countries, Australia, New Zealand, still it's there that man can also file complaint because there's so many cases against women also, those who are harassing men. But in India, the act is still gender neutral. But if a woman harassing the women, then she has got the right to make a complaint. And under this act, she is also covered. The act doesn't say so, but the High Court has given the judgment.
Yeah, so then we need to change the approach of talking about Posh with regard, or not only with regard to the male as a person. So our approach should come as a person, not as he, emphasizing only about him, right?
Because mostly 90% cases it's he and she. That's why the word is respondent. When we talk about the complainant, we say aggrieved woman. And when we talk about the respondent, we say respondent. So respondent can be a woman also, respondent can be a man also.
That's why initially I said with changing times and with changing sexual orientations, we see that this is also coming. And again, it's more shameful. The women are open now to complain on men rather than the women. So probably that is also an important factor that we need to focus and think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, talking about your sexual, this thing you're talking about, recently I attended one webinar that was also about this sexual harassment and all.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to react, but I react in a very natural way. A young boy, he was sitting over there, he was wearing a sari, he had black beard on the face, he was wearing a sari and he was wearing a bra also. And he made it a point that everybody who watches the webinar should see the bra also on his body. But no, I mean, I didn't react at all. But that he was from Himachal Pradesh, someone, and he asked me to join their organization and be a part of that. I've yet to say yes, but we should be prepared for these things also. Recently, I read about this thing. क्या उसका नाम है जिसमें पिक्चर बनाई है चमकीला?
Okay. Ali, Imtiaz.
That जिसने वो बनाई थी जब वी मेट
The Imtiaz Ali.
Imtiaz Ali. Recently, I read about him. He has made recently a movie, Chamkila. He said Imtiaz Ali, and bracket he has written she. That I've got more of attributes of a woman than of a man. So these types of things are now coming up in the society, and we should be prepared. We should prepare ourselves, our members also, how to tackle such things. Because now we went to Chandigarh. I met one person. She's transgender. She's running a good organization and very successful organization. So we have to open our mind towards all these things. And our members should also learn to. Otherwise, I mean, had I reacted to that boy that why you are wearing a bra, there's a beard on your face, I couldn't do that. So these are the latest learnings for all of us if we want to live in this society and handle the social matters. Isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you. Otherwise, the presentation last 2 days, it was, great. And I think it was totally in clarity that we don't have much of questions to ask and we don't have much to trouble you also.
Not at all. There's no trouble. Any question, any clarification, any way I can help, I'm always prepared, Ashita. You know it. So there's absolutely no problem. Yes, any problem, any question anybody wants to ask.
This is Meenakshi.
Yes, Meenakshi.
I have a couple of questions related to the rules that you discussed today. First is, are these the rules that 7 days, 3 days, whatever, is it general to all the organizations or is it specific to different organizations? That is my first question.
No, it's the act is for everyone. For organized sector also, unorganized also, public also, government also, finance also, non-finance also, universities also, schools also, research scholars, hospitals, everywhere.
Okay.
This is the part of the act. Only thing where we differ is when I talk about CCS rules. Because DOPT in 2015, they issued the orders how to go about when you're doing the investigation. First, you do the inquiry. If you think that the man is guilty, then you do the investigation. So investigation part is when you give the recommendation, and then as I repeatedly have said, the D&D authority, discipline authority, they can either issue charge sheet and again start with the presiding officer. I mean, under Rule 14, those who are familiar with the government rules, they will understand that government has got its own rules, which is called Rule number 14 under CCS. So there the procedure is slightly different, but the Act doesn't talk about that. So those who are in government offices, for them, they have to follow the service rules and maybe CCS rules also. But other organization, as per the rules they have made, so that rule only come into the picture when you have given your findings and recommendation. Before that, the act is same for everyone, Meenakshi.
Okay, a second question is, where do we get access to these rules in written down format? Of course, you will be coming up with a booklet, then we'll have it. But as of now, if we want to have access to these written down guidelines, can we?
Google mein jao, you'll get the copy of the act.
Acha, okay.
Copy of that. And second thing is, Women and Child Ministry in 2015, they have also issued a handbook.
Acha, okay.
With Women and Child Ministry ki handbook, that is also, I mean, not in that detail which I was talking about, but they have given, I mean, good information they have given about that with examples also.
Okay.
So
and one last question. Last question. You just said duly signed. Is it having special implication, duly signed, or just signed? It means as
no, duly signed means must be signed. Okay. Duly signed means must be signed by everyone. This is official language we use in the offices. So कई बार वो language आ जाती है. Duly signed का मतलब it has to be signed by all the members of internal complaint committee and by the person who has written the statement. That is duly signed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Kuljit ji, this is Supriya.
हाँ जी, सुप्रिया जी.
Actually, thank you so much for such a learning and useful session, you know.
You're welcome.
And my question is, if ICC has to handle all these cases, can they also be able to create awareness amongst their women staff?
Yes.
Whatever, if it is a corporate company or anything, if they take it up as their responsibility, their work will be less, the people will be aware, particularly women.
Yes, I repeatedly I have said that ICC, as I told in one of the cases also, the complainant, she has made a demand in the apology, one of the demands, that you should have a workshop for all the officers and the staff. They should know what does it mean by sexual harassment. She has made this one of the conditions. And now that organization has put up the matter to the management that we want to have this workshop. First is that the duties of the employer. I didn't go into that yesterday because it was becoming very boring. Employer ki duties ki kya baat karni hai. His duty is to create awareness, arrange for that. But it becomes the responsibility of ICC also.
Yeah.
From time to time, they should also have this orientation program, because whatever I have talked today, it is nowhere given in the act. जो मैंने आज बात करी है, calm her, pacify her, give her confidence, talk about the proceeding, nowhere it has been given. All this matter, all these slides I have prepared based on my experience for the last so many years. So that you won't
Yeah.
get any.
In
So
fact,
it's a duty of ICC also, if they want that a work environment that should be healthy and cordial, then they should also help in arranging, because normally what happens when we go for the meeting, it's a member of the ICC who give the recommendation that there's a need for this workshop or there's a need for this awareness. That's all
yeah,
it is.
yeah. And we actually have tied up with a university here, and we are going to bother you to come and
I
take
know
a session
25th
for
is the
us.
program, na 25th. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
wondering
मैंने
whether,
कहा माँ
because
कहा था और वो दूसरी लड़की जो है उसने उठाया था उसको भी
Hello.
Suman, mute yourself, please. Supriya, I was wondering 25th के program का ना, because then this ICC, do you want me to cover this ICC also?
Yeah, because the
Methodology?
women staff of the university will be there. So, in fact, could be briefly, I'm going to actually do some work after these two sessions. I've learned a lot, and I'll have a discussion with them, and I'll brief you on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I'll have to edit my PPT na again.
Okay, that's why. Yes. Yeah. I'll be in touch with you.
Okay,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Any
Yeah.
other question?
Kuljit ji,
Anji
Sharda
ji.
Desai. Basically, Rule
Anji
19
Sharda.
also of the Act mandates the employer, it's the duty of the employer to arrange workshops and awareness programs.
Yes.
And as an NGO
Yes,
member,
yes.
I think it's our duty to make them aware that they have this duty of sensitizing and conducting workshops at regular intervals. And
Sharda ji,
basically, I
sorry.
and basically, I feel that the challenge today is not the lack of knowledge on the part of authorities, it is the lack of courage at times. It's not that they doubt the veracity of the victim of sexual harassment in many cases that I've observed in my experience. It is that they are not strong enough to address the issue, especially when the alleged perpetrator is in a senior or a powerful position. And that's where the role of NGO member comes. And
Yes,
in my
that's
past
what I have said
experience,
repeatedly, that when you go for this meeting, the first reaction of the chairperson is, in most of the cases, she'll say, "Ye to case false hai," because she wants to help the senior officer also. Most of the time, these are senior officers. Second, she doesn't have the extra time to handle such cases, so that's why she wants to just जैसे तो खत्म कर देते हैं, do away with those
Khatam Had.
cases.
Absolutely.
That's why it's the duty. I told yesterday also that I took that complainant to a separate room. I told them I want to talk to her privately. When I took her to the separate room, there she cried like anything, and she explained that what had happened to that girl. Because in so many cases, the girls, they can't talk so freely. हमारे तो ये है ना inhibition है, you cannot talk about sexual things, clearly. So जो external member है, she has also to be very free. As I told yesterday, I told that man, because she said that उसने मेरी breast को touch किया. I told that man, you stand and try to touch. So this type of action is required by open talk by the external member also. External member should have.
Because
External
I would.
member, I think 90% of the responsibility falls on the shoulders of external member. क्योंकि उनको तो कुछ पता ही नहीं how you conduct yourself, what confidence you are going to show, what knowledge you have about the cases, what knowledge you have got about the act. You have to explain everything to those people. Only then they are able to handle the cases. Otherwise, they're always ready to close the case. So it's the external members' responsibility, 90%, to help the women to come out, develop the
And here-
confidence, talk about that. If you go on, nullify the cases, then they won't have the confidence to come forward and make the complaints. One girl is helped, the 10 will come forward. If one girl is rejected, nobody will come forward, because it takes a lot of courage to come out, commitment to talk about such things. The social stigma. When a girl makes a complaint, that girl told me, she said, when I walk in the corridor, लोग कहते हैं ये है जिसने किया है उसको नहीं accuse कर रहे. The one who has been assaulted or harassed and one who is suffering, उस पर उंगली करके सारे कहते इसने किया. I mean, that our social structure is like that. We never say he is the rapist. We always say she is the one who has been raped. So it's a responsibility of the external member to give courage and handle the case with confidence, guide them properly. Only then we'll be able to, contribute an iota in the women's safety at workplace. So it should
Because I
become the
do
mission of
remember here, I would like to remember and thank Madam Bulbul Das, because in 2006 and 7, when I was head of the department in government, in an organization where the union was very, very strong. And then at that point of time, and I was, because people, as you yesterday, you were telling that people are not ready to depose. Privately, they used to come and tell me that they agree with the victim, absolutely. And they know that this crime has been done against her. But because of the strong union, nobody was able to give it in writing. So our Bulbul Das ma'am, she was there, an external member, and she was a great source of strength. So together, one and one, as कहते हैं ना, एक और एक 11 हो जाता है. So NGO member has a very great role to play. I mean,
Yes,
and the
yes.
best part
And
is
she has got
the
nothing to
courage.
lose. She has got nothing to lose. क्योंकि जो
Absolutely.
बैठे हैं यहाँ पर member ICC, maybe they have got to work with that senior man and something like that. No, but the external member, you've got nothing to lose. आपने तो लड़की की
Yeah.
help करनी है. That should be your main aim, or to help
So
that girl and how to bring her out of that trauma.
Absolutely. So courage is a very, very important factor
Yes.
for the NGO member also.
Kishada,
And
thank you so
empathy,
much.
of course. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Any other question?
Good afternoon, Kuljit ji. Amita over here.
Ji, Amita ji, namaskar. Good afternoon.
You have really explained in very detail about the ICC. That is the Internal Complaint Committee role of NGO member. Because I am in LCC, so I know how important ICC's reports are. Hello?
Yes, Amita, very right.
Very
I agree with you what you are saying.
important because
These reports are very important. They can make or mar the career of a person, no?
yes,
The girl also and the boy also,
definitely
both.
because sometimes even the girl will be at fault, not the male member, but it is the
It doesn't.
report what the external member has given. That is very important. As you said,
That's very
many people will have some soft corner for someone. So depends on the NGO, the person external
Yes.
And what I would like to even say that whoever willing to become the ICC member from the NGOs, that is one thing. Report, you have to write a proper report and authenticate it by the signature, because which helps the LCC to take decisions very fast. Because even in LCC we have 90 days to for inquiry and give the report.
Because report writing is a very important point, no? Normally, even now, whenever they write a report, they always first consult, they send the report. You have to check the report whether step by step, because unless you give the details and create a clear picture, it's very difficult for the employer also to understand what you're writing. So the background, the article of charges, the complaint, the statements, what is your evidence, what is your reaction, what helps you to reach to that findings, why you are giving that recommendation, all those things should be part of the report. And the copy of the report must be given to the complainant also and to the respondent also. When you give the copy to the employer, I think I missed it, you must give the copy of that finding to the complainant and to the respondent also.
External member, whoever will be there, they need to also have a copy so that you will know if the LCC calls you, you need to know what is the background and all. So
yes, because you shouldn't put the signature unless you got the complete knowledge. So normally when they do the report writing, help them, and when the report is finalized, always ask for the copy for signature when you are sitting in a very peaceful place. मैं तो ये घर में कहती हूँ, मेरे घर में भेजो किसी को, I will go through the report and then I'll sign. Because if you're sitting in the meeting, they can always put pressure on you. नहीं मैडम ऐसे कर देते हैं, नहीं मैडम ऐसे कर देते हैं. So when you're sitting at home and reading the report and putting your signature, nobody is going to influence you at that time. So you can use your own wisdom at that time if you have any wisdom for report writing.
Very true.
Okay, Amita, that was fun. Out of just light of vein.
In in the Google or in the what is that, the ICC, the rules and regulations what they give us, but Kuljit ji has really explained it in a very detailed manner. So really hats off, and I think our members will benefit from this webinar.
Thank you so much, Amita. Thanks a lot for the lovely words. And one thing I want to say that yesterday I got 3-4 calls and they said, कि मैडम आप अंग्रेजी में बोलते हो हमें समझ नहीं आती है. So Kalyani had told me in the very beginning that you have session in Hindi also. So if there is a demand for Hindi, maybe during the first or second week of June, we'll have this session in Hindi also. But if there's a demand, because yesterday I got the calls, Angrezi bolte ho, nahi samajh aati. I said, okay, we'll do in Hindi also. So maybe sometimes in during the month of June, and the first week, we'll have this Hindi session also. And all the things I'll try to explain in Hindi. Ritu will help me in making the translation also. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Kalyani, you would like to say something?
Hello, Kuljit. Hello, Kuljit. I'm Shikha. I have a question.
Yes, Shikha. Yes, Shikha. Please, Shikha, you're most welcome.
No, thank you very much.
Hello?
Taken,
हो गया आपका?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello? हाँ कुलजीत हो गया?
Shikha, yes, Shikha, please
I have
carry
a
on.
small question.
Yes,
Kalani,
Shikha.
just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. I have a question.
Okay, Shikha. No, you got 10 minutes.
No,
Yes, Shikha.
you want to No, just I want to know. Just now, you in your training, you have told that any organization, maybe office, college, university, whatever may be, more than 10 staff or employees, whoever may be, the ICC committee should be there. Internal committee should be there. Does it apply for NGOs also?
This sexual harassment committee.
Yes.
Yes, even NGO, we have that in AIWC. We do have a committee.
No. And now I can, from experience, there are many organizations, those who have men and female staff employees in some NGOs in Calcutta. I know them because I work with them, but they do not have. Do not think that they should
men
be
and women are
aware
working
of
over
this.
there and 10 members are there, then they must have a sexual harassment committee.
Do you not think from AIWC we should also give approach to them for making this sexual harassment committee?
Yes. If you yes. If you feel that as per the requirement of the act, they should have a committee and they don't have, you can always write to them because you are an NGO. Write to them that as per the act, you should have sexual harassment committee. You are not having, and you are liable to a fine of rupees 50,000 or your license will be cancelled. This is the punishment as per the act. You can write to them.
So, if I need your help in this regard, I hope.
Yes, I'm always there. Yes, I'm always there. Always.
Thank you again.
If you need my help, I will always. I will speak. No problem. No, मेरा कोई बिगाड़ नहीं सकेगा. मैं बहुत बूढ़ी हो गई हूँ. मेरा कोई कुछ नहीं.
Uladek has already took me as they have taken me as an external.
That's very good. I'm so glad. People are telling that we are members of so many. I feel so good. Only thing is that we should do justice. Yes, anytime, anything. Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anytime. No problem. Okay.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Yes, 3 participants have raised hands. Any more questions or shall we close the program?
They can write.
Shall I request Kalyani?
Kuljit, I'm a little confused again.
Haji Ashita.
Yeah, one last, sorry. I'm a little confused again. This ICC, you should have it in a, with 10 members, employees and more, with men being there, also being employed. So again, my question comes back to it. What if there is only women and women,
Oh, yes. As I said, women are also covered under this act.
So
even
irrespective of irrespective if men are
Ashita,
there or not.
Ashita, if only women are there, men must be visiting the office. So that's otherwise also if women are there, वो निकालो जरा वो जो न्यूजीलैंड वाला सर्वे.
No,
So
no,
I'll
is
show
it
the
applicable in
survey.
Indian, I mean, India, that irrespective of gender, we need to have this committee?
Yeah, irrespective of gender, because as I said, Act doesn't say, but High Court judgment has said that.
Okay, okay,
जो
okay.
पहली वाला first वाले में ना वो था ना न्यूजीलैंड वाला. I'll show you one slide. Ashita has forced me to show that slide.
No, because it was a little confusing because
No, I'll show you. Just now I'll show you. Yeah, I must show that slide. I should have shown yesterday, but it was getting late. This. Yes. This is the slide, Ashita. This is meant for you only.
We are not sharing. Should I share?
Share kar.
Okay, I'll just find it.
We are unable to see it, Kuljit ji.
Yeah, but just trying to fix it.
Okay.
Just ask.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So this is a report of Human Rights Commission in New Zealand. New Zealand ki hai ye. 3/4 of sexual complaints were against people higher in rank. It's not only 3/4, it's 90%. 90% of complaints involved men sexually harassing women. Most of the cases, men were there harassing the women. 2% consisted of men harassing men. 6% women harassing women. 2% women harassing men. So women are also harassing men. If a person is young fellow has joined and he is very smart and handsome, but he is having a relationship of friendship with a subordinate, the senior member will definitely get annoyed. That is very natural. But my attitude is any type of violence, whether men harassing men, women harassing women, men harassing women, I mean, we shouldn't tolerate that, any type of violence. This is not that if the women harassing men, we should feel happy. No. Even if a man is being harassed, that also creates a great turmoil for him also. So no, zero violence. We should try to tolerate zero violence, no violence, and no harassing against anyone. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And now, Kalyani, please, shall we stop it? To all of you for joining me, for listening to me, for raising the questions. I'm so glad that everybody got involved in this. And I know that now our members, though they are already very efficient, but maybe it will also add more to their efficiency and they will take the responsibility of handling the cases independently and guiding the ICC members also. Thank you so much, everyone.